everyone, it's Micah. Welcome to our Wednesday reaction series where we're looking at all of the number one songs of the 1980s. We are in the middle of 1981, February and March of 1981 to be exact, and Eddie Rabbitt stayed at number one for 2 weeks during that time frame with I Love a Rainy Night. It's interesting that we had two country artists at number one back to back. First Dolly Parton and then Eddie Rabbitt. Both of them were definitely pop crossover acts, but they retained a significant amount of their country appeal at the same time. I know that this was right around the time also that Kenny Rogers was, in fact, we reacted to Kenny Rogers having a number one song a few weeks ago with the song Lady, which was number one for several weeks at the end of 1980. So, but in a 3-month period here, or 3 or 4 month period, we had 3 country artists go number one on the pop charts. So there was very much a country pop renaissance that was going on. And I just realized what I did there, because Renaissance, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. Anyway, but that's the thing that makes this whole Beyonce thing so weird for me. It's not like there's these worlds of country and pop have been so separate and so regimented and so non-porous that, and having a pop artist like Beyonce do that is so unexpected. So let me not get started on that. It just perplexes me that this has been such a controversial thing, because pop and country have lived harmoniously together and at times crossed paths quite extensively over the years. And this is another example of that. I remember hearing this song on the radio as a kid and just loving the song, just the melody of the song and just the idea of the song. But let's see if it's as good as I remember. This is I Love a Rainy Night.
Well, I love a rainy night, I love a rainy night. I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning when it lights up the sky. You know it makes me feel good. Well, I love a rainy night, it's such a beautiful sight. I love to feel the rain on my face, taste the rain on my lips. In the moonlight shadows, showers wash all my cares away. I wake up to a sunny day, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Ooh, ooh. Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning when it lights up the sky. You know it makes me feel good. Well, I love a rainy night, it's such a beautiful sight. I love to feel the rain on my face, taste the rain on my lips. In the moonlight shadows, puts a song in this heart of mine, puts a smile on my face every time, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Ooh, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. Ooh, ooh. Showers wash all my cares away. I wake up to a sunny day, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night. You can see it in my eye. Yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, it makes me high. Ooh, I love a rainy night. You know I do. Yeah, yeah, I love a rainy night. Well, I love a rainy night.
Yeah, it's as good as I remember. I honestly had no recollection of the guitar solo in there, but I do very much remember the back and forth between the sparseness of the opening um, and the more lush traditional country arrangement of the formal chorus of the song, and then it going back to just the percussion. I can't isolate what the percussion is exactly, but it has a finger snapping quality to it, um, which of course replicates the sound of rain falling, but in a pretty abstract way. It's not real obvious, or perhaps slightly evoking thunder, but there is definitely a quality to that part of the song which also evokes the sounds of a storm. And it's just that part of the song is just really magical, and I feel like that's what sells the song. To me, this would be a perfect song to release. Currently, it would be a very memeable, very that part of the song is so catchy and so succinct and so hooky that I feel like it could very well be a viral TikTok. It could be the next Running Up That Hill. If it was featured in the right context, it could very easily take off on social media. In that way, it's that hook is just really, really great. The part that follows, the part with the more country instrumentation where that all kicks in, that's a nice contrast to the opening, but it's ultimately less memorable and less dramatic. The guitar solo is surprisingly good and surprisingly effective, and then the outro to the song, we don't really have outros like that anymore, and I think they've become kind of passé, and this song is a pretty good example of why those have become passé. At the time it was fine, but the fact that he ad-libs his way into giving away the underlying meaning of the song is a small disappointment for me, because while there is definitely a subtext of him talking about something other than the rainy night itself, it never quite surfaces. But then he ad-libs his way in the end to the part where he says it, and I love you too, and that comes kind of out of nowhere, and to me that kind of ruins the mystique of the song a bit. Although you could also look at it in a positive way and say that it kind of confirms and ties up the idea that he's really talking metaphorically about good times and bad times in a relationship. I prefer the literal interpretation of the song, because the idea of writing a song about the weather and about how it makes you feel and really zeroing in on that feeling, there's something kind of cool about that. And the obvious parallel for me here in terms of songwriting is to one of the number one songs from 1980 that we reacted to, Sailing by Christopher Cross, where he's supposedly talking about a specific activity that causes him to be contemplative and get into a positive frame of mind. And this song seems to be very much of the same mind as that song in a lot of ways. Sailing seems more introspective and contemplative, whereas this one is much more like, hey, this makes me feel good, and that's pretty much all there is to it. But it's so effective in its simplicity that it's just irresistible to me. So yeah, I still really like the song after all these years. Next week we'll be looking at the next number one song of the 1980s, "Keep on Loving You" by REO Speedwagon. That's a easy listening classic that I'm quite familiar with. Well, I think I am. We'll see how familiar I am next week. Stay tuned and watch it with me then, or listen to it with me then. I'm not sure if there's a video we'll be seeing with it or not. Until then, if you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, that would be terrific. And please continue to make music better.